Hi friends, welcome to House of Knitting, episode 6. I am Kristen, your host. I'm Mama Holmes on Ravelry, Mama Holmes NC for North Carolina on Instagram, and the Mrs. K Holmes on Twitter. Today is Wednesday, January 7th, 2015. Happy New Year. I am so glad that we are in 2015. 2014 for our family was just crazy. It was a really hard year, probably the hardest year my husband and I, that our family has had really since we've been married. We've been married five and a half years. So I'm so glad 2014 is behind us. So glad. Welcome. I'm so happy to see you. It's been a few weeks since I last podcasted. I hope that if you celebrated the holidays, that you had a fantastic, relaxed holiday. We were sick. We had the flu in our house the week of Christmas. My husband had it the weekend before Christmas. My 3-year-old son, Xander, got it on Monday, and then I had kind of just not the remnants, but just suppressed symptoms because I was on Tamiflu on Christmas. So we actually had a really low-key Christmas this year. Our Christmases tend to be low-key anyway. That's my phone, sorry. Our Christmases tend to be really low. Our holidays tend to be low-key anyway. We have some things that we do and that we feel are just more important to celebrate during the Christmas holiday, Christmas season. And so it was really low-key though. Like, I got up early that morning when Xander got up, and we opened his gifts and did Santa, and then I went back to bed until about 12:30. Got up, took a shower, went and had dinner at my family's house, and that was it. New Year's Eve we weren't sick, but we just stayed around and didn't do much. We rented some Redbox movies and sat, and I knit and had some tea and coffee and just relaxed. We were in bed, I think, by 10:30 or 11 o'clock. I told my husband that New Year's Eve 10 years ago for me was so different than what it was that night, and I wouldn't change it. I love just the low-key, the relaxation, and not really having to do much of anything. So yes, jumping right into it, you can find the podcast. You're watching the podcast, so you can find me on iTunes, YouTube, and you can find show notes on my blog, which is house-of-homes.blogspot.com. We have a Ravelry group, House of Knitting. Please go over and join. We have about 69 members. We've had some new people join in, and I'm so glad to have the group just growing, and I love the group. We have such a fun group, and we chat, and it's great. So head over to Ravelry and join the group. We just finished our housewarming cowl, which was the first cowl of the podcast, and it was geared towards just getting to know each other. And I closed that thread early in the morning on January the 3rd. We had 240 total comments. The cowl was chowder-based, so you had to be knitting on or crocheting on something, but you didn't have to finish anything. But some of you did. Some of you actually entered, actually commented, posted your Christmas gifts, and it was great to see the progress of you casting on the gift up into finishing it. So congratulations to all of you that finished it. Awesome. So I did go ahead and draw 2 prizes for that cowl, and I'm going to go ahead and announce those winners. You did have to have an initial post that had a picture of something that you were doing or finished or whatever in there, and so I did have to do some checking to make sure that the people that won did that. So I'll go ahead and say that the first prize, which I kind of already did some research and to see if you were a knitter or a spinner. I do have like a replacement prize if the person who won the fiber doesn't want the fiber. So I do have a skein of yarn in my stash that was gifted to me for the cowl that I was going to use in another cowl, but if you don't want the spinning the fiber, then you can just let me know and I'll get you the yarn. But so the first person that I drew, she won Socks That Rock, lightweight in Orphan Fledge. Try to get the light. I'm recording later in the afternoon, and so I kind of messed with the light, but there's a good picture in the thread in Ravelry of what this looks like. But I have the light off over here. You can kind of see it, and it's not showing it like I wanted to, but you can kind of see it there. Anyway, the person who won this skein was post number 232, and it's LME Call Linda. It's LMECOLL, and her name is Linda. Linda, you won the skein of Socks That Rock lightweight. Congratulations. So if you will send me a PM with your address, I will get this out to the mail sometime probably next week. Also, the second prize was Sheepish Creations. Their fiber, and it's Polworth. I can't remember the name of the colorway because it's not on here, but it is in the group. Yeah, it's kind of clown, like it reminds me of a clown. Greens and reds and blues and yellows. And the person who won this was post number 162, and that's P. Latham, who's Peggy, who I actually know in real life, in person. So Peggy, you won this fiber. You are a spinner, so if this fiber is something that you would like, just let me know. And if it's not really you, then I have a skein of yarn in my stash that you are more than welcome to. All right, so just both of the winners, just send me a message on Ravelry, a PM when you get this and when you see this, and I will get your prize out to you. So thank you guys for all who participated. I loved the cowl, and I'm so happy that you guys wanted to knit along with me. We had a lot of people that participated. We had a lot of people that just checked in the thread and looked around. I can actually see voices and people who see the actually go in and see the thread, and so it was so good to see that there were so many people that enjoyed the cowl. And so thank you so much for checking the cowl out and participating. Yay! We will be having a cowl probably, I want to say like beginning of March. So just be looking for, I'm not quite sure what the cowl is going to be yet. So if you have any suggestions or ideas, let me know. But I love the aspect of having a cowl. So yay! The light is crazy, and I'm so sorry. I have like a dark shadow on this side of my face, so I'll try to look like this the whole time. But yeah, so let's get going. I think I hit everything that I needed to hit. So let's just jump right on in. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is in this bag. It's a Tangerine Designs bag. Let me show you the bag. Little foxes. I think I've talked about this before, but I'm getting to where I like to keep multiple or a couple of projects in one bag. And so bags that are bigger like this or taller or wider make me really happy. I think I'm going to start destashing. I've destashed a good bit of my bags, but I think I'm going to destash like my single skein bags because I don't know, I don't use them as much as I thought I would now. So if I destash, it'll be on Instagram. So make sure you look there if you'd like some, like a bag. Anyway, I'm so sorry. This project, it was cast on actually New Year's Eve. This was about as party as I got. I posted a picture on Instagram, but this is Unwind Yarn Company on her Twinkle sock base. I'm going to try to get the light, and it's just not going to show. Maybe. There you go. It's really purple, lots of purple. It's actually showing up way more blue than it actually is. It's more purple. Maybe on my white shirt you'll be able to see it. But I cast on another sock head hat, and so this I think is actually going to be a gift. my sister and I have birthdays in January. January is my birthday month. And so she's the 22nd of January, I'm the 25th. And so I think this is going to go to her because her winter coat is actually purple. It's actually, you can't see it, but there's a really dark shade of purple in there. And that's actually the purple that is her coat. So I think this is going to go to her for her birthday. If Brianna, if you're watching, you're probably not, but you shouldn't have been watching. She doesn't watch the podcast. She talks about it to people. My sister's a nerd because she knits and she does podcast, but she doesn't watch. So anyway, she has a life, 2 kids, and works and goes to school, so she doesn't have time. But like I said, it is showing up way more blue than it actually is. It doesn't really photograph very well, to be honest with you. I tried to take a picture of it and it just doesn't come out right. So anyway, but there are shades of purple. Some bits of white in there just from where the dye broke. It's really pretty. It's so easy. It's such a quick knit, not quick knit. It just seems like it's quick because you don't think about it, I guess, but it's perfect for TV watching. And I've started staying up at night. I'm a night owl in general. I stay up pretty late, but at night after the kid goes to sleep and my husband goes down, after he goes to bed, he works really early in the morning. I just pull out this hat and watch some Netflix and knit away. So yeah, it's a really fun hat. It's coming out really well. I think you can kind of see it is Dana's twinkle base, and it's not really showing up, but it has a lot. There it is, a lot of stellina throughout it. And this is the only skein of sparkle that I have, and you really cannot see it in the hat at all. So I'll stop showing it. But yeah, it's knit on size 3, US size 3, my Addy lace needles. And I think the pattern calls for like a 2 or a 2.5, and I just didn't have one in a 16-inch. And it worked so well for the first sock head that I knit that I thought I would go ahead and just use it. And I think that's why it's so mindless, is because it's just in the round. Yes, so that project here. All right, so I moved the light around a little bit so you might be able to see. Let me see if you can see this first. Here's the sock head. Now you can see it. That is about as true as it goes. You can see the sparkle. Ooh, you can really see the sparkle. That's the sock head hat that I just talked about. Out of Knit Picks Stroll Fingering, hand painted in the Make Believe colorway. That's pretty true to how it looks to me. I do love how it's striping. You can kind of see the purple. If you see the purple over here, you can kind of see how it just, the progression of the color is really awesome. And it is kind of flashing, isn't it? Right here, it's flashing. It's okay. And then this side, yeah, I love it. I'm to the heel, so I'm doing my slip stitch heel flap, and yeah, that's about all to say. I knit my socks on US size 1, 2.25, and I'm using Addy sock rockets. Usually I knit DPNs, but I wanted to cast on another pair of socks, and I had my turbos open, or my sock rockets open, so I just decided I was going to knit with the sock rockets. I love how Knit Picks, my kiddo is napping and I thought I heard him, but I think that was my husband actually. I love how Knit Picks is a really good like workhorse sock yarn. It knits up really, really strong. It feels way different than my finished sock does. It actually feels a whole lot thicker. This is my last skein of Stroll in my stash, and so I'm thinking that I would like to pick up some more Stroll because I really do like the durability of the sock. I haven't worn through any of my socks but I noticed that my Knit Pick socks are just really, really firm. Not firm, but just really durable. They're really warm. So I do like those Knit Pick ones. But and this is what it looks like in the ball. I'm in this kick where I'm not winding my skeins, like with my ball winder and my skein winder. My Swift, not skein winder, but the ball winder and the Swift. I just like to sit. I talked about how I like to sit at night and watch TV while the two boys in my house are sleeping. And for some reason, winding a ball of yarn is very therapeutic for me. And so that's what I've been doing, is just winding it. It's fun, actually. Anyway. So yes, that is that. Put the projects away. So next on my list of whips is it's actually a commissioned knit that I'm doing. Last year for Christmas, I knit washcloths and made like a body scrub for family members. My sister's mother-in-law, her mother, so my sister's grandmother-in-law, and then my grandmother. And my sister's mother-in-law actually requested at a set of 12, and she's paying me for the yarn and then my time to do them. And so she wanted the same washcloths that I knit last year, and so I'm doing that. And I just charged her $2 per washcloth, so she paid me $24 for a set of 12. I don't think that that's unrealistic, really, but that's just the number. That's the number that I figured out, and so there you go. And that covers the cost of the yarn, and then I think it was $1 per washcloth for the cost. Maybe not. I can't remember how I broke it down. But anyway, that's just the number I had, and $2 per cloth. So I actually am on, this is the 8th, the 7th, no, this is the 8th washcloth. She was here for the New Year's Eve, for the New Year's week. And so what I did was I went ahead and gave her the ones that I had finished, and I am finishing up the rest of them and just mailing them to her. But this is the Leafy washcloths. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's a garter stitch leaf. Let me see if I can just bring them up for you. I'm knitting it out of Lily Sugar and Cream cotton, and I'm using the Sage colorway and the Jute colorway. And so this is a ball of the Jute. And it's just Lily Sugar and Cream. I'm getting 4 washcloths out of each skein. So it's really, if you're looking for good presents, good holiday presents, it's a really good present because cost-effective wise, washcloths in general are just a good gift. But cost-effective wise or cost-wise, it's a really good way to do gifts, handmade gifts, for not much money. And it's also a good way to introduce people to your knits to see if they actually use them. And so I thought it was really awesome. I gifted her 3, I think, last year, and she actually requested a set of 12 from me because she said she loves using them to wash her face at night and that kind of thing. So this is the pattern. It's by Megan Goodacre, and it's a leafy washcloth, skill level beginner. I mean, you just have to know how to increase and decrease, really. Yep. And she gives you at the bottom there, you can see she does a couple of different styles. She does a garter stitch style, and then she does a stockinette version. I have found that the stockinette version, I don't like it as much for the washcloths. For these washcloths, I like the garter ridge version because they wash up really, really well, and they kind of stretch because of the garter, so they're easy to care for. But that's just my personal opinion. And I'm knitting them, I think, on size 7s. That's what I did. Let me tell you. I have a project page for the set. Yeah, US size 7s, 4 millimeters. So yeah, just trucking along. Nothing really great to say. I don't have a finished one to show you, but they get to be about, I would say, it's really, when you finish it, it's about this tall. So actually it's more like that, same thing probably. But yeah, it's a great mindless knit. I knit them watching Sons of Anarchy at night without the kiddo. It's a great show, great storyline, bad language because it's an FX show. So if language bothers you, it's not a show for you. It's also not a show for the faint of heart. It is about like an outlaw biker, an outlaw motorcycle club. And so they do things outside of the law. And it's not really a show for people who like, it's just not a show that you think. I am watching it on Hulu or on Netflix. And so I know how it ends because I can't not read a spoiler. But watching the story unfold to the point that I know that it goes is really interesting. So if you like really good writing, you like a storyline that doesn't necessarily always have a happy ending, you like creation of characters and getting to know a character and know their story, then you would really like Sons of Anarchy. It's once you get into it, it's really hard to stop. Like the first couple episodes, I was like, I don't know if I can watch this. And then I just kept watching and I just couldn't stop. The acting is great. So I definitely suggest it if you're looking for something to watch. But like I said, it's not something that some people would be comfortable with. It's very, very wordy. A lot of the S word. It's very wordy. So anyway, I was knitting these washcloths while watching Sons of Anarchy. So they're that easy that I can like pay attention to a crazy storyline and still knit. So yeah. Next on my whips list is a Christmas gift that I started and did not finish in time because I got sick. So I will have to pull up the pattern. I'm knitting a stuffed animal for my niece who is 13 months. She is the sweetest thing ever. She's amazing. We have this nickname. So the girls, me and my sister have always called each other Sissy. And I'm Aunt Sissy to my niece and nephew. And my sister is Aunt Sissy to my son. And then they call Hannah-Lee Sissy as a nickname. So things can get kind of confusing, and you always hear my nephew say, no, my Sissy. But I'm knitting this for little Sissy, who's Hannah-Lee's. And she is 13 months, like I said, and it was supposed to be her Christmas gift. But because I didn't finish it, she just got a box to unwrap because she's a year old, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm knitting her Hippo by Susan B. Anderson. And it is from the Itty Bitty Toys. Oops. It's from the Itty Bitty Toys book. It's super cute. Super, super cute. Hippo. And it's actually sock yarn held double. And I'm actually using the other skein of Knit Pick Stroll that I had. I'm sorry. The other skein of Knit Pick Stroll that I had in my stash was Lullaby. And for some reason, I didn't see myself as making socks with this skein. So I just wound it up and Lullaby hand painted, Stroll fingering, and started her hippo. So this is the body of the hippo. And it's already stuffed and ready to go. And I love how it's knitting up held double. And it's stuffed already with fiber fill, and I cast on the head and started it. Oh, it's right here. And I'm somewhere in the pattern. I put it down because I got really sick. With that flu that was going around, I slept for 3 days. Even though I didn't have a fever, just the Tamiflu made me sleep, I guess. So this is a little bit of the head that I started. And I can't remember what size needle I'm using. Oh, a 4. I'm using a size 4. So yeah, it's pretty cut and dry. It's a great pattern. It's in a book, but I think it's also available for purchase. I can tell you if I can get there fast enough. Nope, you can only get the pattern in the book. Well, I could be lying because it's in my library. Yeah, it looks like you might be able to only get it from the book, but it's a great book. It's got lots of cute things in it. It's got a Santa and his toy bag and a mouse that I'm going to knit for Christmas decorations next year. So, yes. So that's Hippo for Hannah Lease by Susan B. Anderson. And, okay, so you've seen all of the boring knitting that I've been doing. And I was telling you that I was bored. So if you have been playing along at home and been watching the podcast, I call my whip section whip pile because in 2014, towards the end of 2014, I started a knit along with My Sister's Knitter, which is a blog that Andy writes. And she has a great group, a Ravelry group. It's very, very active, and they do lots of knit alongs. And so at the end of 2014, from like September or October to December, we were working on tackling our whips. I finished all of my whips except 2. The boxy was one of those whips. All of those socks that I had on the needles were part of that whip pile that I was trying to get through. And I actually have a project page titled Tackling Whips for the cow, where I was keeping track of my whips. So when I started, I don't remember, September, I think it was October 1st maybe, is when I started. Nope, it must have been September. I think it started in September. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 whips in my basket that I wanted to 10 whips in just period. I had 10 whips that had been languishing and needed to be finished. So what I did was I kept track of those whips. And you can see that I finished all but 2. The newborn vertebrae I started and frogged it because it wasn't knitting up the way that I thought I wanted it to. But the rest of those, Sam's socks, which are the cup socks, the boxy, my jelly bean socks, my handspun hat, which I have lost my handspun hat. I'm pretty sure I left it in the hotel room at the Frolic, but I can't find it. Anyway, my handspun hat, inland, my spring socks, and my wedding orchid socks have all been finished. So I have 8 of 10 whips either frogged or finished, and I have 2 whips left that I did not finish before the 31st of December, which is fine. That's fine. The first of those, which I swear is going to be done by the end of January, is my Palm to Pen cardigan by Amy Christophers. And what I did was I went ahead, I had the body done and 1 sleeve finished. And so to motivate myself to finish the project, I went ahead and blocked the body because I thought it would give me a good kick in the pants, really is what it did. And it did. It totally did. And so this mess that I have in my lap is actually the blocked body of the cardigan. Let me find, you've seen this, I'm sure, on the last episode, but this is the cardigan. And I'm knitting it out of Cascade 220 Superwash Sport. And this is the body. So you knit it bottom up, which I love the construction of a bottom up sweater. And what I should have done was like pinned them together so that you could really see it, but I did not do that. So I'm going to try to put them together so that you can see. It's kind of a mess because the sleeves aren't set in yet. It's a set-in sleeved cardigan. So this is the body. Is that frontward? Can you see that? I think you can. Isn't it gorgeous? It smells so good. Isn't it beautiful? The openness of the leaf is amazing. It's going to be, I knit the 45.5-inch size because I wanted a good bit of ease. You're supposed to do like 3 to 4 inches of positive ease for the cardigan. And it's super long. It's gorgeous. It's perfect. I cannot wait to finish it. It is totally a kick in the pants to finish. And you can actually see the difference so I'm knitting, this is the second sleeve. The first sleeve is not blocked. You know what's really funny is I had one pack, like one box of the Knit Picks, like blocking pins, and the body of the cardigan took the whole box of pins. And that's not like not generous. It's to the point where I had some places that I should probably go back and reblock, but I'm going to reblock the sweater anyway. So I just didn't worry about it. I wanted to make sure everything laid flat, but for the seaming to be able to set in the sleeves. But yeah, so here is the second sleeve unblocked. Okay. Blocking this, it definitely, that is a testament to the power of blocking. And I did not block this like aggressively. So here is the two. This is unblocked, this is blocked. It's amazing, huh? Blocking an all over lace cardigan is amazing. I just keep saying that. I should just title this podcast Amazing, but I love it. What I did, another reason for blocking the body first was that I've been doing research on sweater knitting and finishing, and Amy Herzog suggests that, I think it was on her episode of Knit Ed, it was Hannah Fettig's episode of Knit FM, where she interviews Amy Herzog, and they talk about how you should block a sweater before doing the button band. And so I have to pick up like 311 stitches for this crazy button band because it's, yeah, it's crazy. And now that I see the size of the cardigan, it makes sense why it's 311 stitches. So I just wanted to make sure that I got the edge. Like, you just want to make sure that the edge of the lays as flat as possible. So that's what I did. But yeah. And once I do the button band, it'll be so much, Amy was saying that it's so much easier to pick up the stitches and to be able to see when you're picking up for a button band, it's so much easier to see the ratio that you need to pick up when it's blocked. And if you look at this, I mean, this is just the sleeve, but you can see the edge that you create this way, the edge that you create for like the faux seam. And you can see how it's so much easier. If this was blocked out straight, it would be so much easier to see and pick up. So yeah, I'm so happy with the semi-finished product that I cannot wait to finish it. So I am busting tail on finishing that second sleeve. I've never set in sleeves before. So I have a couple of blog posts and tutorials earmarked that I'm going to go back, and I'll make sure. I've been really good about going to my project page for this cardigan and putting in like if I find tips and tricks. So off the top of my head, I know for sure that to cast on, I used the method where you cast on from both sides of the skein, from both sides of the cake. So I linked the Coco Knits tutorial on how to do that. And then I'll go through and knit and link. Did I say knit? I think I said knit. I meant link. I linked the Cocoa Knits tutorial. And so when I go to pick up, like I'll make sure to go in and link the episode about blocking your knits and things like that, so that you can, because I like to have that there for a personal resource, but I'm trying to utilize my project pages as much as possible in the new year, and so, or in projects, especially with sweaters, so that I can progress as a sweater knitter. I will say that there's 2 issues with this cardigan. Already, I have had multiple issues with this cardigan because, like I said before, this is not a pattern that holds your hand. I don't really need hand holding. I didn't think I did, but I probably do. And I have had, okay, for instance, for that first sleeve, when I showed it to you last time, I had knit forever on it. I didn't even do the decreases for the set-in sleeve correctly. So I finished it and was like, what the frick? This is not right. I had to rip it all the way. I mean, I had to rip it almost back to this point. And I actually put a picture on Instagram of the red lifeline. Oh my gosh. I have had issues with the setup. I've had issues with, I mean, once I figure out the pattern, that's one thing, but just following the pattern, I've had issues with the pattern. Okay, for instance, perfect example. When you're doing the set-in sleeve, I've never done set-in sleeves before. So in the set-in sleeve instructions, like when you're knitting the first sleeve, she doesn't ever say to stop working in the round. You just have to know that that's what she means. Like, there's a point where you go from working in the round to working flat to knitting back and forth. She doesn't say on this row you'll stop knitting. It doesn't say that. Like, you just have to read the directions and realize, oh, and I even texted one of my friends, Tracy, who is Snow Knits, and I was like, she is local to me, and I was like, is this right? Like, am I supposed to stop? Because I just want to make sure before I proceed, and it's totally incorrect. And she was like, no, you're right. You have to stop. You stop knitting in the round for the decreases. Yeah. Just little things like that where it's assumed that you already know how to do it. Okay, so those are a couple problems. I've had numerous problems with this sweater, which is really funny because I love just looking at this, I'm gonna love the finished sweater, but I have wanted to pull my hair out the whole time. So when I was blocking it, I blocked it out, pinned it out, came back to it, and out the gate noticed 2 problems. They're the same problem. You will see here and here that I have little markers. Can you tell why? Let me show you again, just in case you missed it. There's a hole right here where the stitch broke. Not just once, twice. Now, once in the ribbing, and then once in the lace. It's a yarn over. I've already looked at it. It's a yarn over that broke. The stitch broke. There's a hole. See it? Hear me now. I'm not ripping back. I'm not. Number one, this is pretty easy to rip back because I would just have to undo this bind off, but I'm not because I'm lazy. And rip all the way back to this marker and then fix it. No, I'm not doing that. The other one is at the ribbing. Now, if you're playing at home, I said it's knit bottom up. So this, where it's at in this ribbing, is less than 10 rows in to where I started the project. I'm not. I'm just going to patch it. I'm going to finagle it, patch it, be done with it. Call it a day. I can kind of see where the stitch broke, so I'm gonna fudge it, and you will know because I told you, but nobody else that looks at it will know, and I don't care. I'm not, whatever. So if you have any information on fixing this problem and patching it up, let me know, please. PM me, put it in the Ravelry thread for the episode. I don't care, but let me know because I'm just gonna, it is what it is. And I've had a problem with this Cascade 220 Superwash Sport being really splitty because there's a lot of different plies, and I've noticed that my needles will catch the ply. And so I'm wondering if not paying attention, like I just didn't get all of the plies of the yarn, and maybe there's just a couple threads of the plies and it just snapped, whatever. If my ring caught it when I was blocking it, I don't know. But at the same time, like, it is what it is. So if you have any information on fixing those little holes, and like, I can see where the stitch came undone. Like, it's not like there's no stitch there. Like, I can see where the stitch came undone, and so I'm just going to go in and fix it. So if you have any advice in doing that, if you're going to tell me to rip it back, don't respond. But if you have a great way to fix it, to patch it up, just let me know. Okay? So that's the Palm to Pen by Amy Christophers, and it will be finished by January 31st. Even though the month of January is super busy for me, but I want to at least have the sleeves set in. How about that? Let's at least have the sleeves set in by January 31st. And then the button band goal can be by the end of February, but yeah. And then the second update for the whip pile that did not get finished by the end of December was my Magrathea by Martina Baim, and I don't have that with me. I've not knit on it. Yeah, I can only knit on it so much. So once this Palm to Pen gets done, I have the goal of casting on for another sweater, but I'm going to really try to finish that Magrathea too. I was trying to literally use the whole skein of that yarn for the Magrathea, and I'm thinking that I won't. I'm thinking that I'll look at it, and when the body of the first part, that first like edge looks great, like looks long enough, it's gonna block out a good bit because it's garter stitch. Then I'll go ahead and start the decreasing for the other side and bind off. I finished my Halloween socks like the end of December, and I even pull out my sock blockers for you because you're special. Not in like a weird way, but like because I wanted you to see them on sock blockers. This is Nomadic Yarns in the Slutty Pumpkin colorway. I talked about these socks so much that I just stopped showing them. And they're finished. Finished. They're great. The cuffs are really long, which I love. Or the legs really long, which I love. The sock fits perfect. They actually, for the most part, match. You can see, what is it? For the most part, they match. If I can hold them at the same length. There we go. For the most part, they match. The toes are a little bit different. A little bit of black on this one and this one. Not sure what happened there, but yeah. Perfect. So those are my Halloween socks, so I have them ready for next year. They've not been blocked yet, but whatever. This yarn is so much thinner than the Knit Picks yarn. That's what I was talking about earlier. So I'm interested to see how they're going to wear, but they feel amazing. So we'll see. I will probably wear these more than just Halloween. I'll probably start wearing them as soon as they're washed. Because I do that. Okay, and then the second thing I finished was obviously my sockhead hat that I was knitting last time. It's not been blocked. The ends have been woven in but not clipped because I don't clip ends until I wash the hat. And this is Fable Fibers in the Oops oxidized colorway. And it turned out so well. It's so, I don't have my hair down, but kind of looks silly. But I like it. I like it a lot. Yep. It's great. It's going to be a great hat. I went ahead and knit this hat like it called for in the pattern. And I only had like, I don't remember if that's sticking or not. Well, it's in there somewhere, but I only had like a ball like this left of it. So I used this 400 yard skein. And so I used pretty much all of the skein, which I was really, really happy with. So I was so happy with the hat that I cast on another one, and I debated giving it to my sister, like not giving it to her. But I don't really think that sparkle is my thing. So, yeah. Yes, so that's done. It needs to be blocked so I can wear it. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's just been sitting on the back of the couch since I finished it. Last episode, I mentioned the year of the sweater, the year of the fit, as far as 2015 was concerned. It's going to be kind of a as you want knit along. It's not like prize. At this point, there are no prizes. It's just kind of like, let's do this together. Anybody interested? And I did have a few people that like said, hey, yes, I want to do that too. So I am putting together some thoughts for kind of like a roundup of things that I'm finding about sweater fitting and gauge and measuring and that kind of thing. And so I'm going to put that up probably as a blog post. It's just, I read a lot of blogs. Like a lot. And so I've bookmarked here recently. I've been bookmarking like, hey, this one's on fit. Hey, this one's on, there's one that Amy Herzog wrote on swatching and 5 tips for swatching and reading your swatch. And so I've been like bookmarking those things. So I want to put them in one place. So the blog post is just going to be to put all that in one place. If you want to like work along with me, there are 2 suggestions that I have for you. One, purchase the Craftsy class, Knit to Flatter. She has a book, Knit to Flatter. Amy Herzog does. It's Amy Herzog's class. But I have the book, but I have the class too. And I have been lacking. Is that a word? Yeah. On watching video podcasts. I've been listening to a lot of audio. But I've been watching the Craftsy Amy Herzog class. So I'm like really behind in video podcasts right now. But I have been working my way through, and I think it's because I've been watching a lot of Netflix and watching this Craftsy class exclusively. So one, if you can, purchase the Craftsy class, Knit to Flatter. If you're not a member of Craftsy and you sign up, I think they give you a coupon for your first class. I'm not sure, but I think. Also, because of the new year, they tend to do like a New Year's sale. They did a Christmas sale for like gifting and stuff, but they tend to run another sale somewhere in January. As a person that's Crafty's free, like there are free classes on Craftsy, but this class is paid for, and I can't remember. I think I bought it for like $24.99. I'm gonna tell you, her like in-person classes are crazy expensive. They're great classes, I've heard, but they're crazy expensive. So $24.99 for one of her classes, and you have a lifetime. You have lifetime viewing. It doesn't go away. You don't have like a limited time to watch it. It's there. It's there forever. $24.99 is fantastic. So if you have some Christmas money left over, maybe purchase the Craftsy class. The second thing that I would tell you to do, if maybe I should have said this one first, but go ahead and become a member, like sign up for a custom fit account at Make Wear Love Custom Fit. It's Amy Herzog's site. You've probably heard about it. It has like custom fit patterns and recipes that you have to pay for. But there are like videos and things that are free. So sign up for a custom fit account. It's a free account, and all you have to do is you just sign up, put your email in and a password, and you're set to go. So those are two things. So really, first, do the custom fit account. 2, do the Craftsy class. Those are what I'm doing right now. I'm really paying attention to the Craftsy class more than the Make Wear Love site right now. So because I'm like halfway through the class, there's so much information. It teaches you how to take measurements, and that information is also on our custom fit site. So yes, go over. The Craftsy class provides documents that you can print out. It teaches you how to take photos of yourself, which I have yet to do. So my goals for this next month, focused on the year of the sweater, year of the fit, is to 1, take those photos that Amy Herzog mentions in her book and on the class, and then 2, to actually take my measurements, because you need to know what type of body type you have to really be successful at this thing. As far as I'm in the Amy Herzog camp right now, that's where I'm sitting. So as far as her instruction about knitting a good sweater, like knitting a sweater that fits your body, like making the sweater fit you, you have to know what type of body type you have. So you have to know on that body type. Once you know your body type, then you know what styles look good on you, but you also know what modifications you need to make. And then after you take your measurements, you know mathematically what modifications you need to take. So those are my 2 goals for this month in the focus of sweater knitting. So if you have some goals, maybe that's how we'll do it, is kind of we'll get the conversation like going as far as monthly goals go. And I would like to know what your goals as far as sweater knitting are for the month of January. I'm also already thinking about the next sweater I'm gonna make, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do the Olive Basket by Amy Miller, and it is a bottom-up sweater. I do like the construction of a bottom-up sweater, and you can see it's very simple. It's a cardigan, and it just has like a moss stitch, or like, I think it's a moss stitch. I can't tell. Designed to the like the bottom ribbing where the ribbon would be, and then the sleeve cuffs, and then the button band. So I'm really excited about that. I'm picking something that's a little bit more flowy because I feel like it's going to be easier to modify. As far as I talked about my like spare tire on my back, and so I'm thinking that's going to be a whole lot easier to modify because it already has like an A-line shape to it, and Amy talks about A-line in her class. So I think I'll be okay as far as trying to modify it and figure out what's good for me. I'm thinking that my modifications for my sweaters will be waist shaping and hip shaping in the back, and then for a cardigan, and then bust darts in the front, because those are my problem areas. And I think that based on what I've been learning in Amy's class, I think that those 2 modifications will really, really help the fit of a sweater. So I want to try a cardigan first before I jump into like a pullover, because pullovers I feel like are a little bit more intimidating, because if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. The great thing about working bottom up is that I can like look at it as I go, and it's not one of those things where, as far as the shaping is concerned, I have to rip the whole thing out. Like I can kind of make sure that it fits as I go. Whereas top down, like it's one of those things where I don't necessarily know that it's the raglan increases. I don't think that those are really helping my bust issue. So that's why I'm thinking a bottom up is the best way to go. To say thanks so much for coming and sitting with me today. And I appreciate all of you who send me messages, and Crafty Allie gifted me a pattern. Thank you so much, Allie. Just that made my day. And so just messages from you or tags on Instagram or anything like that totally make my day. I'm not one to I don't have to get gifts or anything like that. I just love community. And so whenever I get on Instagram and somebody's tagged me for what are you doing now, or watching the podcast, or I want to share this with you, it makes me so happy. So thanks so much. I hope that you have a great January, a great next couple of weeks. I hope that you stay super warm and that your knitting is going well. If you're spinning, share with me what you're spinning. I would love to see it and just be inspired. Maybe I'll be able to sit down on a wheel before you know it. So thanks again. If you won a prize, please remember to message me on Ravelry, and I will get those prizes out to you as soon as I can. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.